Hello, my name is Aaron Judy, and I'm going to present to you one of Maxwell's 21 Laws of Leadership, the Law of the Picture. And I'd like to start with a video.
It's been here from the very beginning. The vision, the focus, the passion. Not just to build something new or something different, but to build something better, to exceed expectations, to set new and higher standards, to expand the potential of what is and transform what could be into reality. Year after year, generation after generation, innovation after innovation, the passion and principles remain the same: to build something smarter, something stronger, something lighter, something faster, something safer, something greener, something bolder. To build something better for today, for tomorrow, for generations to come.
Thank you. I wanted to show a video for this lecture because I thought that since we're talking about the law of picture, vision, passion, being practical as leaders, that video spoke directly to that. A little bit of marketing, of course, with Boeing, but great video, and the company has great vision and great company to work for. People do what people see. We have a lot of followers if we are a leader in our organization, but leaders must be visionary. We must keep the bigger picture, and it's really important to be visionary when we're trying to solve critical problems and we have challenges. But we also have to keep it practical. We can't have a vision that's so far from reality that our followers do not see it, that it's practical. The book talks about winners, who was, if anyone's seen the Band of Brothers television show that HBO produced, and he said, "My men depended on me to carefully analyze every tactical situation, to maximize the resources that I had at my disposal, to think under pressure, and then to lead them by personal example." So people do what people see. Making the picture come alive. How do we do this? With mission statements, with the vision, and with the strategy. We can provide purpose, a picture, and a plan. There's lots of different mission statements. Boeing's, you just saw, build something better. Lockheed Martin's is we are engineering a better tomorrow. So there's many mission statements, and if you don't have one in your organization, maybe that's something that you can apply or change. Followers are always watching us. Employees watch you, but we don't need to command them. We need to convince them. And again, keeping it practical. If you don't think someone's watching you, I guarantee you they are, whether you come in late to work, leave early, show emotion too much under pressure. These are all things that employees are watching us every day and trying to figure out, how do we really handle stress? How do we balance work life with personal life? How do we convince people to follow us? Is it in a commanding way? Is it in a practical way? Do we use vision? Do we use strategy? How do we do that? So something to challenge us, that we should always be aware that followers are always watching. Doing what's right. It's easy for us to teach it, but we need to live it. We need to give a good advice, but we also need to set an example. The worst thing that we want to do as leaders is give it good advice, teach them something, and not necessarily apply the same thing in our day-to-day lives, whether that's personal or at work. John Wooden said, "Show me what you can do, don't tell me what you can do." And I think that's probably how a lot of followers look at us as leaders. It's easy for us to go tell them what to do all the time, give directions and give orders. But that's really not what we need to do. They need to see us in action. The leader needs to be in action. The leader needs to be making the vision come alive The leader needs to be handling the stress and showing the followers that they are capable and confident enough for their employees to follow them. How do we do this? We need to work on changing ourselves. It's easy for us to go try to change others, but the first person you should lead is you. We talked a little bit about this in my lecture last week on the law of intuition, but we really need to look at ourselves first if we want to change our organization or change others we might be leading. We need to fix our own camp. A good example, Opinion Research Corporation did a survey and found the first two things that folks were interested in or rated was number one, leading by example, and number two, strong ethics or morals. I found this to be interesting, especially in our culture today, that number two is strong ethics or morals. Maybe you could make a case that it should be number one. And I do believe later in this course, we will be talking about ethics as it pertains to leadership in business. And finally, who do you model? I put some here. The book, John Maxwell mentions the ones that he modeled. My father and grandfather both are pastors and work full-time jobs. They never had a large enough church to be full-time, so they managed a family. My father raised 4 kids. My grandfather raised 6. They are also a pastor of a congregation, and they worked a full-time job outside of that. President Reagan, independent of politics, I believe is a good example to follow, and I've read a lot about President Reagan, his speeches, someone who was president when I was growing up at a young age, and I'm also interested in World War II, the Cold War, and what I do for a living. So these are the folks that I have picked that I model. Neil Armstrong, pretty self-explanatory there. What Neil Armstrong did, walked on the moon, and then really went and lived quite a quiet life, but was very active in his community and in his local school district. Did a lot for the high schools and middle schools and elementary schools in Ohio where he lived up to the day that he died in 2012. And my biblical example, actually, this was in the book as well, but it was mine as well, as David, who was a shepherd boy who faced a giant, became a king. No one wanted to stand up against Goliath, but a small shepherd boy was able to do that with God's help. So we never know what we might do, what our calling is, or where we should stand in the gap for someone. But these are the 4 people, 4 or 5 people that I model, and I challenge you to try to find people in your life that you model. That is the law of the picture. Thank you for your time.